Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Truth Train here on internet, podcast, wherever. The world is again... in the last episode, 20, we did talk about the lizards.
No, that was 19.
That was 19, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the
20 was a lot about pizza and being brave.
Yeah, a new topic of ours.
Of course.
But my point is... the lizards are really... we're not going to talk about lizards in this one. I just want to open it with the whole feud about the Epstein thing, right? So, a lot of interesting stuff coming out. The whole MAGA movement is dissolving, right? Because of the Epstein thing.
Right.
And it's so funny how this is... and I don't know what to believe, okay? But it's poorly managed by a guy who is an expert on PR and promotion.
Yeah.
Okay? So they say that Trump is in the Epstein files. Of course he was. He met him several times. But so did Stephen Hawking.
Right.
Right? And, you know, oh my God, it was Stephen. Yeah, like, guilt by association is not great.
Just because Stephen Hawking met Epstein doesn't mean there aren't black holes in the universe.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what people need to realize.
Yeah, like, well, we can't believe the black hole theory anymore because of Epstein.
Yeah.
And also another thing, like, okay.
And also, we should just dismantle democracy because of Epstein.
Because of Epstein.
Yeah.
But it's just like, as Tim Dillon has talked about in his latest podcast, it is about, okay, but what if Trump, okay, what if it's a pedophile, but he's a pedophile, but he's like doing great things, you know? Like, the pedophile didn't go to war with Iran. Shouldn't we celebrate that pedophile, right? It's just, he's like, has a great take on it.
Right.
But, but it made me think, like, how, because we're always talking about canceling stuff. Cancel that artist. I can't listen to that comedy anymore because Bill Cosby drugged and did not great things.
Right.
Okay?
To people.
To people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not just in traffic. But
not just inanimate objects.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
to people.
Against the sofa. No, a TV. He broke the chair. No, he did it to people.
That's
human
right.
beings.
That's right.
Carbon-based. Life forms.
With DNA.
DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And so do we, like, if, okay, let's say Trump is on the Epstein, like, there's footage of him, but as they said, like, this guy, I don't know who said it, but it's, again, if there was evidence against Trump being a mass, you know, rapist, pedophile, whatever, on an island, on Lolita Express, on Epstein's plane, don't you think they would just release that to then kill his presidency or his campaigning, you know, the primaries and all that stuff?
Yes.
He will be over. And also another thing. Here's the kicker. Because this is news. People get their news from this show.
Of course they do.
A lot of people, like, they can't listen to CNN and the other ones. This is where they get it. So here's a news flash. Oh. Yes. Here's a news flash. If a country like the US has toppled regimes since its conception, they've toppled that regime, put in another guy. That guy didn't work. They find another one. What was the guy in Iran that was elected? It was somebody called...
Shah.
Yeah, no, he wasn't elected. There was another guy who was elected, and then they got him out, and then the U.S. placed a Shah in there. And then he kind of started becoming an asshole, so they started supporting an opposition to get rid of the Shah. But then they lost control of the whole thing. And the same has happened over in Chile, Pinochet. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. Like, it's been a shit show since the beginning. And they've toppled stuff, the CIA, they've been killing presidents, and they've killed their own president. All this stuff has been happening. But for some really strange reason, they still have that file that will then rain down on the CIA and destroy everything.
Yeah.
They have this one file cabinet.
You got to have an Achilles heel. Otherwise, what's the fun?
They've done everything all over the world, deleted and toppled and done everything. But for some reason, they have this secret folder about the JFK murder that will destroy everything.
That's right.
Don't you think if they can topple a regime, they can also burn some files?
You would think so, but
Wouldn't
no.
you think so?
Well, you would, but no. Do you remember when you were a kid and you were playing like Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that? And the final boss, right? You could either beat him, try to beat him with, just whatever like weapon you had at hand, but there's always like some sort of secret self-destruct button.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And so that's what reality is also like that.
Yes.
You can't have a country unless that country has a self-destruct button.
That is true.
And the US has the Epstein files. You would think the self-destruct button would be, sort of their donut intake or like something that would kill them all, but it's the Epstein files on a microfilm.
So that is happening right now, the Epstein thing. And of course, Musk kind of turned this whole thing on. So he's kind of prevailing in that way. But it's just funny to me, like this evil regime that has done like the worst. They've killed 5 million people in the name of war on terror. Inside jobs, all this stuff has been happening forever. But there is this one file.
Yep.
Release the file. And then like that oh my God, yeah, the president is caught on camera doing stuff in a honeypot regime, honeypot operation based on a foreign country's whatever.
That's it.
It's so stupid.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
It is so stupid because listen, a lot of shit has happened, but they're not saving that one file to bring down the whole agency. That's what I'm trying to say.
I would just like to say for anyone who's watching this on YouTube that in 2025, July 2025, if you're going to get your news from somebody and have it be believable, I want to have that person look like the Unabomber.
Exactly.
Which is why I know you're telling the truth.
What? And I also don't want to give up my identity. That's why I have a hat on, glasses on, because I don't want to get killed.
Yeah, that's true.
In prison.
That's right.
No. He killed himself.
Yeah,
I know a suicide when I see one.
No one is suicidal on the truth.
Why is there 1 minute missing? Well, every time the camera rewinds and it's like, how old is this system of yours?
You can monitor citizens 24/7.
Yeah, you can monitor NSA can like do metadata.
Yeah.
Everyone can be mass surveilled and everything. They got a file on everyone. They got everything like gazillion bytes of people eating snacks and calling their boyfriend or whatever. And they have all the nudes and they have everything. But for some really strange reason, they can't film a door 24 hours a day, only 24 hours and 59 minutes a day, and there's 1 minute missing.
Right.
No, it's the camera has to rewind or whatever it has to do.
Yeah. So Betamax from the 80s.
Right. That's the reason.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's great. So that's the news of the day.
It's true because I don't watch the news. I exclusively listen to extreme right-wing influencers. Mm-hmm. I have become radicalized, I would say, over the past 3 months.
Okay. Yeah, the 3 months.
Before that, I had a family. I mean, everything was great.
Yeah, you were painting your house and playing with the children.
Mowing the lawn.
Now you're divorced and you have a shotgun.
In a bunker.
Yes.
So all I'm saying is all these people were so on board. They were so in sync, It was just like, Trump is the best. Get rid of the immigrants. We got the whole, make America great again, make America healthy again, all this stuff. They were so synced. And then suddenly one day it was like RFK came out and said something about like, hey, if you want to, you can have a COVID vaccine. They were like, what did you say? Yeah. And then it all started. So now they're all turning on each other. Yeah. And it's weird because... And I would say that's part of the fun, too. If you're watching CNN, you're never going to see the news anchors turn on each other.
No.
They're sort of on board with the same teleprompter and the same story.
Of course.
I think if CNN wanted to get back their numbers, the hosts should start turning on each other.
Well, but by the way, and something that really kind of made me suspicious to the whole thing is because on the internet now, a lot of CNN clips are coming up in my feed, and I never watch CNN, but I watch news and I watch different journalists have their take in whatever the reporting is. But the CNN is really doing a lot of like reporting on this Epstein thing, and that is strange because like okay, it's Trump, it's hurting Trump, the whole thing. So they, of course, now they're piling on.
Right.
But they could have done that a while ago too. But for some reason they didn't do it. So that's strange. But what I'm trying to say is, you're not going to find anything new in that case, because if there's something damaging to anyone, that is long gone, burned, or never reported in the first place. Just saying.
Who saw to that?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Who saw to that?
And that's why people listen to this podcast, for those types of questions.
Exactly.
You know?
And if you want to have the answer, wire us money on our future Patreon that is coming at some point.
Send us Bitcoin.
Yeah, send whatever you want.
That's it.
Did you send the hot sauce to that lady in Australia?
Absolutely.
You did?
The green one.
The green one.
Yeah, the green one was jalapeno something.
And if she's still listening, can you tell us if you received it or not?
We need hot sauce confirmation.
Yes.
To keep sending.
Well, I'm pretty sure she's gonna send us like a picture when she gets it.
Oh man, you know, earlier when you said CNN is now crowding my feed,
yeah,
I was assuming that you were going to say they're on to me. You know what I mean? Like the government knows what I'm up to, so now they're testing me with CNN. 'Cause that's kind of how I feel. I was going to mail that package to Australia from this country, which is an undisclosed location.
Yeah,
it's technically not even a country. I mean, this is international waters. Technically,
we're in a ship. Designed as an apartment of a crazy person who recently got a haircut.
It's so true.
Yes.
So anyway, I went to the post office. Have you ever seen that show about Australian borders?
I have seen it.
They're crazy.
They're pretty, but I also think that they're extra crazy because of the cameras.
Maybe, but they're sending people back on those planes left and right. Okay? It's just like, you know what? I don't like the look of your face. Get back on the plane. So it's heavy-duty stuff.
Yeah, did your dog just sneeze?
Yeah.
We're going to put you in 14 days in confined space.
And euthanize your dog.
Yes. He's dead now.
And they're always onto these Chinese people who bring food, and they're like giving them fines and yelling. They're so strict. So anyway, I was going to mail this hot sauce. Mm-hmm. I'm standing there at the post office. I was going to send it anonymously. You know what I mean? Like I went there dressed like you are now.
Yeah, you dressed like me.
A spy.
Yeah, you tried to dress like me and use my identification.
That's it. Because then you could take the fall.
But yeah.
So what they wanted was my information and my phone number and my email, and they wanted a bunch of information. And dude, I don't want the government to be on to my, you know what I mean, to be on the scent, you know? Not that I'm doing anything wrong, but I want to keep my options open for the future. Right. Anyway, you know, I don't want to be on a watch list because of a hot sauce. Anyway, so I gave them all this info and I sent the hot sauce. Then I started thinking,
hot sauce watch list. I'm writing that down.
Listen. So I'm walking away from the post office, and it dawns on me, like, wait a minute, I didn't make the hot sauce. What's actually in that hot sauce? Like, these Australian Border Patrol people are insane. What if they stop my hot sauce? They open it, they test it, and it tests positive for crystal meth. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's the one that somebody spilled crystal meth into.
How are you going to have a normal life when you have that shit clinging in your head? Like, how is this going to work? You're never going to have a family. You will never hold a baby. Ever. And then, like, I am your daddy when you're that fucking insane.
I would turn that around and I would say, I am perfectly poised to eviscerate my enemies.
Right.
With that mindset. Because I'm not naive like the rest of them. Normal people would send stuff to Australia and think, I'm sending something nice in the mail, you know? Not me, you know? This is a psyop for me. And that's what makes me perfectly...
Who would like to have children with a person who thinks that sending hot sauce will ruin his life? How are you going to manage a life in the free market of ideas,
right?
When that is your idea?
You know what? I should put that on my Tinder profile.
Afraid of hot?
No. Like hot. What did you write down earlier?
Hot sauce watch list.
I'm on a hot sauce watch list.
Yes.
And then they'll know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "Oh, him too?" You know?
I also feel that I'm on the hot sauce watch list. That's why I never leave the country anymore.
You know what?
You should have dinner with me.
Yeah.
At my place, because I never leave my house.
I think there's somebody out there for everybody. You just got to be honest about who you are.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think there's some limitations.
I don't know.
I think being afraid at the post office, sending a bottle of spicy sauce, is probably where the line is drawn.
You know, I would turn that around. If I was a psychologist, I would be concerned about people who aren't paranoid at the post office
Well,
sending
that's
stuff to
quite
Australia.
a conundrum now.
Well, let me ask you this. What kind of a sane person watches Australian Border Patrol, goes to the post office to mail something to Australia, and isn't concerned? There's a disconnect there.
I'm not concerned.
Well, you got a lot of problems.
How are they going to... How would Australia get back at me for sending in hot sauce, like a bottle of hot sauce, to Australia? The customs would just look at it and like, no, we're going to throw this away. That would be the only...
No. They would get you.
Let's get to our fucking sponsorship here.
That's right.
What is it? Is it... So it's chili.
Well, that's a special edition.
Well, okay.
So let's take the exact one that I sent. This is the one I sent.
Limited edition.
It is. It is.
Why is it always limited on these people?
That's the one I sent. The green one.
Yeah. Okay. But so what I'm. So here is. Yeah. So the jalapenos, and then it's like so the ingredient list is in another language than English.
Well.
Which you're gonna get arrested. That's what I'm trying to say.
Damn it.
They're gonna knock on your door.
Yeah, extradition.
Pretend to be like a plumber.
Yeah.
And there are gonna be 10 cops holding you down.
Interpol,
yes.
Listen, do you remember when I did Expedition Season 2 and went to America, and I was so concerned about the visa situation that I assumed that ninjas would rappel down from the hotel I was in and extradite me to the USA for prison sentencing in Guantanamo Bay?
I do remember that because I was the one who saw you in that state.
Yeah, and you were convinced that it was the drugs. But here I am, 6 years clean, just as paranoid. Who's silly now?
Yeah, so you might as well just go back on drugs.
Well, but I'm just saying.
Hey, when I was on drugs, I imagined that the CIA would come for me because of I filled the form wrong.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like entering the US, you filled like that you know whatever it was, and then like I thought that like the SWAT team would get me.
Yeah.
And then sending hot sauce that the kangaroos will attack you in the street.
Yeah.
From Australia.
I mean, I'm actually more paranoid than you can even imagine, and I think it's a respect-worthy paranoia.
Yes.
Look, not to delve into that as a topic, but I'm just saying, like,
I think we should.
I'm just saying, like, if I'm walking down the street, like when you've had people after you, right? If you're walking down the street and a car slows down, you assume they're there for you, right? And I think if you don't assume that, you got a lot of problems. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of cotton candy fucking Willy Wonka factory have you been living in?
Fair point.
Right?
Fair point.
Assume everyone is coming to kidnap you. Isn't that a smart move? I mean, it's smarter than assuming they're not.
There's a couple of problems with this.
Really?
Because like what you said just now, you know when you have people after you.
Yeah.
I don't really know how that works. That's number one. There's like maybe like a tenth of 0%.
Yeah.
That knows what you're talking about. Nobody knows. Like, you know, when there's a car, like, yeah, it's a fucking car.
No. I'm just saying, I had to live at a secret address for 2.5 years. And based on that, you know, I took some paranoia with me in my suitcase of life.
No. You've always been paranoid.
That's true, actually.
It's not about that happened.
Yeah.
You've always been paranoid.
That's true.
And then that happened to you, which just like triggered your alarm system more.
That's right.
It's not that you became something. You were already that thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that was bad. What happened?
Yeah.
It was like, you know, let's be honest. There was some drug thing happening. And maybe in some sane or insane way, it kind of helped you also.
But that's why it's great exposure therapy to mail hot sauce to Australia.
That it is.
Because I'm assuming they're going to extradite me, at least for an interrogation.
But let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting mixed signals here.
Really?
Yes.
For me?
Let me ask you two questions.
Yeah.
Did you send the hot sauce?
100%. 100%.
That's 100%.
I can show you the bank statement and everything at the post office.
Really?
Yeah, I did it in two phases though. First I went there, I was alarmed by the amount of information they wanted, and I bailed out. Then I went home, you confronted me and said, "Is it sent?" I admitted, "No, it isn't sent yet. They want material." And you said, "You got a lot of fucking problems."
No, I didn't say. I yelled.
Right, you yelled at me and you shamed me and everything.
Yeah.
And then there was this woman at the gym who she's like Eastern European or something. And then I went up to the store. She was working in the mail desk, and I thought, oh, she goes to my gym. Maybe she can sort of soften the blow of mailing this.
Yeah.
Package.
She's like a co-conspirator. I'm building a team to send this hot sauce. Are you in? It's going down on Wednesday.
That's right.
$20. Hot sauce. Logistical.
That's right. So anyway, my heist team was coming together. Anyway, so I asked her, I said, like, listen, if I want to send something to Australia, like, what's it going to take? What do they want? What info do you need? She's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
She looked at me like I was crazy. And she said, just bring it here. We'll figure it out. And I said, great. I went straight home. I grabbed it and I said, I'm doing this. I'm going to the post office. I go back to the post office. Now there's a short, fat guy there. She's gone. My whole team has fallen apart.
Maybe she's a shapeshifter.
Maybe, but I did it anyway.
Wow.
It's sent.
Wow. Because you asked me, okay, but I had to like fill in my email and my telephone number and my blood type and like everything.
Yeah,
and I said,
right.
why don't you just put down my details? And you said, oh, I didn't think about that.
That's right.
So, and then I didn't really hear about anything. You didn't ask me about my email or my whatever it was, address.
Because I need to live in a world where the Australian Border Patrol isn't after me because I'm mailing hot sauce.
They're not after you.
Well, I needed to figure that on my own. That's why I mailed it on my own with my information.
Are you afraid to not now like go to Australia and then like, oh, Dex Carrington.
I'm always
We
afraid.
know about you.
Damn it.
You sent a hot sauce 10 years ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had a podcast. My friend forced me to. Yeah. Well, you're going to jail now, buddy.
Going for a long time. God damn it. You know what? I fear that all the time. I remember vaguely being stopped by the cops like 8 years ago, something like that. And then the guy looked at me and he said, "You've trafficked THC." And I said, "No, I haven't. You must be mistaken." And he goes, "Let me double check." And then I was able to charm my way out of the situation. But ever since then, I'm always afraid that they're going to stop me and go, "Oh, wait a minute, you did something terrible." You know what I mean? That you're going to get life in prison kind of thing.
You know that they've changed the law around that, right?
Really?
Well, in this particular country, they have.
Maybe.
Like, having drugs now is not illegal. Selling drugs is.
Right. But if you import them, that's never popular. They don't like that.
They don't love it. But you're not seen as a criminal.
Right.
I mean, if you bring a whole like a dose for the whole family and a couple of friends of yours,
Family dose.
yeah, and in the intent of selling it,
Yeah.
that's a criminal offense. But is it for your own use? Is it, or was it?
Was it? I don't remember. I don't even know what it was.
Right.
I don't remember. Right.
Yeah.
It's just terrifying.
Right.
But I like the idea of finding a drug dealer and he goes, "How much do you want? Give me the family dose.
The maximum family dose.
Give me the family dose." Like the bucket from KFC, kind of. You know, but just like, I want the family dose. I wonder how much that would be.
I never really. I think I've eaten at KFC once in my life.
Once.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just.
I was hungover in Prague.
Right. As one is.
And that was the only thing that kind of like, okay, well, I can pronounce that name.
Nice.
KFC.
Right.
And, an interesting story about KFC.
Uh-huh.
It was a guy who went to the Colonel Sanders.
Uh-huh.
He went to collect his first, like a pension check. And then he was like, "This is it? I'm going to live off of this?" He's like, "No, I can't. This won't stand." And then he's, I have this great chicken recipe. So we travel around to try to find somebody to sell his chicken, and nobody wanted to. And I think like there was one place that said, okay, we can make this. And he said, I don't want any money for it. I just want like a royalty of every chicken.
Every chicken, huh?
Yeah, and like
Every chicken sold.
And then I think that's the origin of the KFC.
Yeah, but he sold it for like $2 million, and then 2 years later, it was worth like $600 million.
He did?
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Yeah, it was bad. I think the saddest part about that story is we no longer live in a world where you can just leave your home and travel around selling your chicken.
No, you can't.
And why is that?
Too much government overreach.
That's right. It's the government who's stopping us from selling chicken. That's it.
Yeah.
And like it's so typical. Like just the only thing that makes life worth living. Just like you can always pick up and just go sell your chicken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was always my pension plan.
There it is. When are you coming back, Henry? Maybe never.
Maybe never.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when I've sold this chicken recipe, I'll be back with a suitcase of money.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then you would take off on your like horse and little buggy, and then with your chicken recipe, and just go from town to town. Did you know back in the day? Have you ever seen a movie called World of the News? News of the World.
I've seen it. Yeah.
And it's about a guy who just reads newspapers.
Didn't love it.
Yeah, no, it's not a good movie, but the concept is great.
Yeah.
Imagine that was a job back in the day, just going somewhere, reading the newspaper to a town.
And this girl reenacted, like he kind of he put sound effects on news.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, like he was like, and then there was a knock on the door, and then he does the knock. Like,
right.
Yeah, like they was like, oh my God, that's a scary news story.
Wow.
Well, people couldn't read back then, right?
That's true.
So that's why what would be the equivalent today? I mean, the news of the world today would be drag queens reading for children.
It's exactly the same.
That's the news of the world of the day.
That's true. Those are the current events of the day.
That's just a new thing. Like, it's still the same thing. You travel around.
Yeah.
You read stories, which it basically was.
That's it.
It was a lot about a journalist is reporting that a guy died and then woke up in his grave. There was a lot of like mumbo jumbo reporting back in the days. And I mean, okay, so it's not, well, it's news in some way, some capacity it is news. But I would say that drag, first of all, this podcast is pro drag queens in mid-transition or whatever it is, reading for children. Like we are pro that.
Right.
Yes.
And why are we pro that again?
Because we're against illiteracy.
That's it.
Yes. And the only ones, and we don't know this for sure, but the research we've been handed is that the only one who wants to read to children now is ex-men in women's clothing.
That's right.
And it's never a woman turned into a man who reads to a child. Because a man would never read to a child. He has too much work on his hand, right? But it's always men who's now become women who reads to the children.
Right.
And that proves that they are women.
Yeah.
Because they want to do that shit.
Because a man has too much to do in his garage.
Exactly. He has a motorbike. He has stuff to do.
There's oil to be...
and bears to be had with the boys.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, can a man be a woman? Can a woman be a man? There's your proof right there. Do they read for children in extravagant costumes? That's a woman.
That's right.
That's a woman right there.
That's true.
And as I've said on stage a couple of times, when people are rejected in their transitioning period, or like they want to become whatever the sex is, like I'm a woman I'm a man who wants to become a woman. It's like, well, you're not woman enough. We have to reject your application.
Application.
Yeah. And then if you have an hysterical response,
right,
where you go crazy and then lie on the floor and cry and just can't accept reality.
Yeah.
Then like you remember that guy that we
didn't
approve. Yes, I remember. Look at her now.
Wow. See? You should work in government.
That's how you know who's who.
Yeah. It's
right?
phenomenal.
And it's like I'm fed off. Like, not on my watch are people allowed to say that women can't be, or women, whatever. you know?
Yeah. Yeah. All that stuff.
Hey, if you want, like, you...
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
Are people allowed to say all that stuff they say?
They say, yes, exactly.
I think the best line you ever had was in another undisclosed location doing a comedy show. I think you said, feminism never really took off until men decided to become women.
Yes.
And that was just a phenomenal line. And then, obviously, some young feminists came up to you after the show.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a word with you, right? To set you straight.
Yes.
And you would have none of it.
And I
mean, it was just a really Christmassy time, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, okay, so let's talk about it. When men
It's so complicated.
started to become women,
Yeah.
and they became women, and then, like, what? No. I want my rights. I want the thing that I had as a man. Yeah, but you're a woman now, so that it's always been like, well, I'm not gonna have that. I will not stand for this. And then it started changing rapidly.
Right.
And that's when you know, if you want to have women's rights, you need men to become women.
That's it. That's it.
That's what we've learned.
Hey.
And then this is not me saying this.
No.
Look at the graphs.
There's so much research.
Look at the graphs.
Yeah.
When they started cutting off the dicks and throwing them in the river and creating vaginas, that's when it really took off.
That's true. That's true. That's when society finally took off.
That's when we had progress.
For the first
For
time.
the first time in many years.
That's it.
I mean, this is like bigger than the moon landing in many ways.
Or the same, at least.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Pretty much.
I would say it's the same.
I would say it's exactly the same.
So my point is, the graphs are showing at least, that when men became women, that's when it started really, like, all the rights came flowing in. Yes, you should have more of this, and you should have more of that, and, like, you know, you're a great person.
You don't argue with graphs.
Don't argue with graphs.
And they're out there.
And they're out there. You know,
There's math out there.
There's math.
You don't want to argue with.
You don't argue with math.
No, you don't.
And then women, like, well, I mean, yeah, this is great. Yeah. Like, and I don't know. Do you know that? Are there more men becoming women than women becoming men?
No, I think it's a lot of...
Do you think it's 50-50?
I don't know. I'm
going to Google it right now.
While you Google it, can I just share just one quick paranoia thing that I had? We'll come straight back to it. But
yeah,
I was going to a prison, and I was going to share my story on addiction. And then as I'm approaching the prison, it dawns on me like, oh, God, what if I've done something terrible that I can't remember, and I'm actually wanted by the police? And when I go into the prison, they look at my ID, and they go, hey, you're supposed to be in prison for life. And then they don't let me leave and put me in a cell.
Right.
And that's kind of like, I would encourage other people to be at that level all the time, because then you're always relieved. I feel more relief in my life than all normal people combined, I would say, because I'm always assuming the worst on such an epic atomic scale.
Yeah, so you're always surprised it's not.
I'm always surprised when I'm not arrested or murdered or sniped or taken down, or, Border Patrol hunts me down.
You wake up and, like, nobody's killed me.
Any day.
What a great day.
Is right. Any day without the CIA is a great day.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, again, like, I have a lot to learn from you.
It's true. It's true.
Waking up not being murdered in your sleep should be a celebration.
It should.
It should be celebrated.
People don't know.
Like, make coffee and then you drink your coffee. Like, nobody's poisoned my coffee.
I think it's
even better.
I think for me, it's it's lonely to be me in this world, because I can't really relate to other people who don't assume they're a CIA target. It's weird for me to talk to people who just don't assume that the CIA is after them. Isn't that weird?
It is weird. But my problem with a lot of paranoid people, like, let's take Alex Jones for a second here.
Right.
Alex Jones, he was a friend of Joe Rogan for a while, and then they had like a fallout, and then Alex Jones started saying on air on Infowars, great channel by the way,
Great name, dude.
great name, yes, a fine news channel,
That's
if
right.
I may say so myself.
That's it.
He said that Joe Rogan is a CIA asset. He works for the government. He's a plant. He's all that stuff, psyop. And then Joe Rogan, like, what? He's saying what about me? And then he called him and say, hey, what are you saying about me? Like, I am blah, blah, blah. And then he changed his mind. Okay, yeah, you're not CIA. Okay, that's fine.
Really?
But it's like, is it that easy? Like, he's a CIA plant. He's working for the government. And then he calls him like, I'm not CIA. You're not? Oh, okay, sure.
Well, I mean, a CIA plant wouldn't lie to me, so
Exactly.
you know.
So I'm just saying that some of these people who are paranoid are gullible and very easily persuaded,
Yeah,
which I think is a problem with the paranoid community.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, other than that, it's a great community.
It's a great community.
Good barbecues, good fellowship.
Great fellowship, and they make a hell of a dinner party.
That's true. You know what I mean?
Everybody's paranoid.
Great mac and cheese at the barbecue.
Like, well, not everybody can be a CIA agent. Let me hope I sit next to a real person.
That's it.
Yeah.
The paranoid community. Wow.
What a community it is.
It is really. It's great.
Okay, so back to my Google. Here's my AI response.
Gotcha.
While so of course they start with some propaganda when it comes to the transitioning.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So this is of course Google here. While the experience of being transgender is personal and not a competition,
No.
like why are they even what is that?
So sick of people assuming it's a competition.
Answer the question. No, don't give me like, hey, just answer the questions. Don't give me like the fucking. Like in not a competition, there's a historical trend suggesting that in the past, more individuals assigned male at birth were transitioning to female than individuals assigned female at birth transitioning to male. However, the gap is closing. And in some recent studies, the numbers of trans men and trans women seeking transition are becoming more equal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't that interesting?
It's equaling out.
It's equaling out.
I just like the fact that artificial intelligence assumed you thought it was a competition.
How is that competition? No, it's not a competition.
Yeah.
The AI is telling me, hey,
Yeah.
there's nobody, everybody's fine.
You know what I mean? So it's like, imagine you walked up to someone on the street and he said, excuse me, do you know where to find either Pizza Hut or KFC?
Hey, this is not a competition.
This is not a
In the
competition.
fast food world.
This is not a fast food war. Okay?
Exactly.
So why don't you take that war propaganda somewhere else?
Why don't you take that warmonger attitude of yours and eat somewhere else?
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's pretty hostile.
Yeah. Why don't you go to your Burger King? You know, he's the king of all the burgers.
There it is.
Right?
You see?
Yeah.
First of all, it's not a competition.
So it means that there's more men becoming women than the other way around. But it is closing.
Right.
And I wonder why that is. Why is it closing? Does that mean that?
Well, let me put it to you this way, okay? Here's a fun fact few people know. After World War II, 75 or 80% of the babies born were men in the 10 years after World War II. So God or the universe or the earth or whatever balances things out. There's always homeostasis. So now maybe, now that the info wars are over,
Yes.
maybe things are balancing out.
Just to close that topic and go, we have to talk more about Alex Jones for a second because
Right.
So do more men or women have gender dysphoria? So as I've stated, like the whole gender thing is talked about a lot, but how many people is it actually about? Like how many people in society? So people assigned male at birth who wants to become who experience dysphoria.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 5 to 14 people per 100,000,
Right.
which is 0.002%. And people, or as I'm female at birth, who wants to become or who experience the dysphoria, is 2 to 3 per people per 100,000.
The women who want to become the other thing.
Yeah. Which means that like per 100,000 is like 5 to 14 people that we like that's the people who are having 90% of the conversation.
Yeah. You would assume it's about 97% of the
I
population.
thought, based on CNN and everyone else, it was 50% of the population was cutting their dicks off and throwing it in the ocean.
In the ocean.
That was based on the Instagram. You scroll and everybody's like, everybody's cutting off their genitalia.
Yeah,
like that. I thought, oh my god, it's like 50%. Like we can't go to war anymore because all the dicks are cut off.
Right.
That's what I thought, based on like what I'm getting in my feed.
Right.
Like, and we have to be more acceptable to the people who are cutting the people and you know everything. And it's like, wow. It's like 60% of people are transitioning right now.
Yeah.
No, it's
right now. Like right now.
Right now.
At any given time.
Any given time.
60%.
Newborn babies, like, yeah, he looks more like a lady. And then we, you know, I thought it was that bad. Mm-hmm. But it's 5 to 14 people per 100%. 100,000.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of people.
No, it isn't.
I mean, that's so few that I think, you know, that's almost like a soccer team in a small city.
It's probably easier to win the lottery than to find one currently transitioning.
Yes.
Math. It's math.
And I played the lottery.
Right.
And I never won anything.
There you go.
There you go.
So, you know, there you go.
Wow.
What does Alex Jones think about it? You said you want to talk more about Alex Jones.
No, it's just funny that when InfoWars is now, of course, it's sold and it's like chopped up, and his whole business empire was destroyed after the Sandy Hook thing.
Right.
He was sued and he had to pay the like
$6 billion.
$6 billion, whatever. Like, and that is also just like to strangle him and like for the rest of your life, you're never gonna make any money. That's basically the whole thing.
Right.
So it's a way of silencing a person. You're just like, let's just like pour him in debt and silence him forever. So, but before that happened, he always said it's a conspiracy. All these big tech companies are talking and they're planning and there's always scheming and everything. And everybody went, no, there's no talking. Twitter doesn't talk to Google and Facebook doesn't talk to Twitter, and like there was no correlation. And then after he said something in an episode about something that kind of resembled some hatred and like go to, you know, they should attack some, like he said something controversial. And what happened was that all the tech companies got together and everybody agreed, yeah, we should silence him. And then he lost all his accounts in one day. He lost his Twitter, his Facebook, his Google, his everything. And like, no, we don't talk to each other.
No.
And at the same day, everybody agreed, yes, he's offline now.
Yeah.
Which just proves the whole, like, you know, his Illuminati, you know, whatever it was. Like, there's a cabal here.
Yeah.
And no, there's no cabal. And then like, oh yeah, they should attack whatever senator or like who votes for whatever it is. And then he lost all of his social media overnight.
Yeah.
Coordinated attack.
But there's no cabal.
But there's no cabal.
That's right.
It's just so stupid. And like, even if there wasn't a cabal, let's say just that's a huge coinkydink. Wouldn't you just imagine like somebody like, hey, Alex Jones lost his thing today. Or maybe we should just wait so he doesn't like
look like there's a cabal.
Exactly. They couldn't do that.
No.
With all the money in the world they have.
Yeah.
They couldn't like
be a bit sneaky.
Do it more like, hey, just like, oh, Twitter did it. Well, we will now also do it. No, it happened at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I'm not. And by the way, CNN is now showing clips of Alex Jones talking about how much he hates Trump because of the Epstein file thing.
Really?
Yes. CNN is showing Alex Jones in a positive light.
Wow.
Well, they've lost Alex Jones, then you're up to something bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
So he's being used now as like a thing that they can rely on.
Yeah.
It's genius.
It's really genius. And like, I don't know. Like I've really just given up. I don't think I'm ever going to meet, as an example, a woman who also believes that the world is run by reptiles, who wants to sell eggs by the side of the road, to marry me. And I've given up on most things, But
well, if you get a lot of money, somebody will marry you.
I think so, but I don't think they'll be willing to.
Of course, you have a lot of money now. I mean, we're in a tanker, like an oil ship,
made to look like an apartment on
exactly.
land.
On land.
I mean, it's not cheap to live in international waters.
That is true. There's a lot of beans you have to be flown in.
That's true. But there's very few taxes.
That's true too.
And anyway, since we got those tax havens set up and everything, that's all fine. But like anyway, all I'm saying is I've given up on society, right? And I was really ready to sort of like hunker down and really call it a day. And then I hear that CNN is showing Alex Jones. And that's when you know that there's hope again. And I thought the info wars were over.
Right.
And, even the trans population was balancing out 50-50 and everything because of the end of the, info wars. But they haven't even begun, I think it's very, very difficult.
It is difficult.
Do you want to hear an interesting story?
No, not really.
Okay. Moving on then.
What do you got?
I got something pretty good. There was a woman I met who was engaged to be married, and her whole life was set up, and she'd been with the guy for like 10 years. Then COVID came along, and she didn't want to get vaccinated, and he got vaccinated, and the whole family was pushing her to get vaccinated, and then she divorced him. And that's the kind of stuff that gives you hope.
Right.
Heard another story about this young woman who worked at a grocery store, and there was a guy who became obsessed with her and totally just went nuts over her to the extent to which he had to like call the police. But he would sit outside, her apartment in a car and just go nuts and like send her flowers, a full-blown stalker. So then she got a restraining order, and he was like sent to prison and then moved to another, like he had to move to another area because of the restraining order and stuff like that. Fast forward 20 years. 20 years later, she went back to her hometown, same grocery store she used to work. That same guy is now sitting. So sorry, he's in the store. He sees her. He sits down at the cash register because he wants to
talk to her.
Of course. And she looked at him like, not happening. And she went to the self-checkout and she left the day after he killed himself. And these are the kind of stories that make you think like maybe it's going to be okay.
Inspirational. What inspiration.
It is, isn't it?
These are the stories you want to hear. To believe in love. Right? That was the message here. What was the message you think?
Love will always prevail.
Yes. But what was the message you think by telling those two stories?
Yeah.
The one about a woman who got divorced because she didn't want to have a vaccine.
Right.
And one guy who was obsessed with a woman, saw her again after 20 years. She rejected him yet again.
Uh-huh.
Then he killed himself.
Uh-huh.
What's the moral here?
I think
between like those two, what's the connection?
Well, I mean, obviously they're both the same story essentially.
Yes.
And the story is, people are starting to question this whole insane asylum that we live in.
Right.
And I think people are going slowly insane. And obviously,
I don't think it's that slowly, as you might allude to. It sounds like it's going pretty fast.
Right.
And maybe it stepped over the line a couple of years ago.
Right.
For some people.
For some people. But yeah. Here's the thing about COVID, right? COVID was the perfect example. Like, people just went nuts and they just bought into that narrative and they weren't capable of questioning anything they heard. It was like the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Right. So that's the first story.
No,
about the woman getting divorced.
No, it isn't. These are both stories because listen, now, because cognitive dissonance will make you go insane eventually.
Yes.
And I feel that people are now finally starting to short circuit. And when people finally short circuit and break down mentally, that's when I have my moment.
Okay.
That's when they'll say...
Just bringing it back to the starting point here.
Right.
The clerk who killed himself.
Right.
Because the woman took the self-checkout counter.
Right.
What was the point of that story?
Oh, it's an interesting story.
It is an interesting story.
Yeah.
Related to what exactly?
Think of it like this. The world has been a snow globe that's been static for a long time.
Right.
Now we're finally shaking stuff up.
Yes. And killing ourselves. Finally.
You get it?
I get it.
You get it?
Well, I'm happy you told me that story because, again,
No,
we need those stories to carry on.
we need stories of hope. We need stories of hope.
Oh, hi, I haven't seen you in 20 years. Like, I'm going to pay over there at the self. And by the way, I didn't envision that store that he worked at had got a self-serving checkout aisle or department or like a thing.
Right.
I would imagine that this is like wasn't it like a small town?
Small town, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't imagine they have the technology like the self-serving counter thing.
Maybe. I mean, when I was told the story, it was basically she didn't go to his checkout. That's all I know. I'm just assuming it was a self-checkout. I'm assuming she didn't steal all the stuff, and I'm assuming she didn't put it back. Maybe too many assumptions, but I think the moral of the story is the same.
Yeah, she wasn't interested in him.
And now the snow globe is finally being shook.
I don't really see the connection of the shaking of the snow globe, to be honest. And I don't see the woman. Well, a woman got divorced, not taking the vaccine.
Yeah.
That's sure. I get that one.
Right.
But a guy who's like dies of sadness.
No, but don't you understand? It's not sadness.
What is it then?
He was criminally insane.
Well, it is a crime to kill yourself.
No. He was criminally insane because he was a stalker, right? He was a bad guy.
You didn't say that.
I said that in the beginning. That's why he had to move to another place. Restraining order. What do you thought that means?
You said that?
Yes.
I don't think you did.
I said restraining order.
Play the tape. We can't.
All right. We're going to get that function one day.
Well, I'm going to, as soon as this episode is out, I'm going to go back and listen to that beginning.
Right.
I'm open for maybe dozing out for a second.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure I didn't hear any.
No, because he was a stalker, and finally, like, you know, karma is sort of doing its thing.
I heard a guy was working as a clerk at a store. She rejected him, went on vacation, came back 20 years later, didn't like him, still killed himself.
A 20-year vacation?
Yeah, that's what people do now.
That's what people
finding
do
themselves.
Now. Yeah, it's true.
That's what they do. Everybody's finding something.
Yeah.
I need to find myself. I need to get away from everything and then find myself. Like, but what are you? Are you a person? We're a product of our environment.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna like, oh, I am myself over here. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm actually rich in Manhattan.
Right.
That's who I am. I'm not poor in Kentucky.
Yeah. I'm actually
a rich person.
Yeah.
Why am I in Kentucky?
Yeah.
I hate my family.
Right.
You know, my brother killed himself because a woman didn't come to his checkout line at the store.
That's right.
Like, these are insane people.
Well, he was criminally insane.
Criminally insane.
That's right.
I am a person who deserves so much more.
That's right.
I need to live in a beautiful house in the woods, but have like a garage with an elevator.
That's it.
That's like, oh, you found yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like hold on. The person I am is who I am when I'm on vacation.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? So you're not yourself when you're at work.
A woman told me once, I am very horny on vacations.
Really?
I said, really? Well, that's bad.
That's selective.
That's like, oh, when I get something, I turn on the machinery.
Wow.
It's like, well, you're obviously an insane person, and I should stay away from you.
I'm very nice when people give me money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. She might have just said that. Like, why? Yeah, she could have just cut some corners and just say that.
Yeah.
I can be bought.
Yeah.
Okay? If you give me gifts,
Yeah.
I will turn on the thing.
Hey, let me ask you a very specific question. I was on Tinder about 6 months ago. I'm off now. I don't have what it, I don't have what it takes.
You don't have it.
I'm not man enough. Okay, I can't handle it. I'm not a soldier. Anyway, so I was talking to this woman, and she goes. She basically had some sort of profile which was like, I'm super spiritual and I'm healed and I found myself and all this stuff. Basically, like I'm on a healing journey and no one's invited, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And I'm looking for a man who's like perfect. So then she said, describe yourself, right? Like some sort of, king. Like,
Is that the way she talked? Describe yourself.
it was the tone. It was implied.
That was the tone.
It was implied.
It wasn't like, so describe yourself.
I'm probably 100% certain that her brain was communicating it in that way onto the phone.
Right.
Describe yourself. Anyway, so then I said, listen, I grew up here, then I moved there, I went to school there, and I did this thing, then I worked with this. She said, like, life events? I was more thinking your personality. Describe it, please. And then I said, listen, I don't feel comfortable describing my own personality. My personality is sort of for other people to decide. I just have to show up somewhere and then other people can say like he's nice or he's an asshole or whatever, but I can't just describe myself.
I'm perfect.
Right? So that's when she said, she you know what she responded to that? She said, I don't deal with people with no self-insight. Delete.
Right.
Now, which one of us has less self-insight? The person who says, I'm not comfortable telling you my personality, I can just be myself and then you can judge, or the person who insists on telling people their personality?
There's two answers to this thing. Number one, you could have just made it easy. Said, I have a great personality. I'm nice and people tend to like me. How about you? You could have said that.
I don't think so.
But you took the long road and like, well, it's not for me to decide and blah, 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 blah. And obviously she's stupid.
Is she?
Of course she is. She's insane.
Criminally?
She's probably criminally insane. They're looking for her as we speak. I'm pretty sure of that.
I respect people who have people after them.
Yes. She's constantly looking over her shoulder for FBI people.
They're coming.
But the point is, obviously, that wasn't a good match. So she did you a favor. Mm-hmm. Okay? The other one is you kind of complicated it a little bit. Well, it's not for me to decide. Blah, blah, blah. Like it's too busy. It's too much noise.
I totally agree with you, but there's a certain breed of human now. And they'll come out in the world and go like, I'm spiritual, I'm enlightened, like I'm healed.
Listen, I've been together with one.
Really?
Yeah. She wasn't like that in the beginning. Okay. And then it was a lot of like,
I've dealt with my trauma.
The stars and the signs and the
crystals. And
yeah. Like I'm on a journey.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, when are you home from that fucking journey of yours? When can I have a sane dinner?
When are you home from that fucking journey? Because what I think is so crazy is like they'll have a tendency to say like, I need a masculine energy, someone who will lead. But it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because and then here's what's fundamental, right? If you want to assess someone, just look at their actions. Don't listen to their words, but they just want to hear the words. Like, I can totally lead, What the hell is that shit? You can't say that stuff. So that's why it's better to just throw the phone in a river, order 2 pizzas, and, just become who you were meant to be. A person on a couch indulging.
Are you going back to food again?
I'm not
going to kill you.
I'm not going
and
back.
Me.
I never left.
If you start, I never left the pizza.
I never did. So
the answer is eat yourself out of the problem, I guess.
All I'm saying is that people need to calm down, and they all refuse to calm down, and that's a problem for me. I'm walking around this tanker.
Yes, in international waters.
International waters, which we call a city.
Yes.
And I'm looking around, and all these people have just lost their minds, right?
In the city?
In the city. And then
in this tanker of ours, everybody has lost their mind.
It's that kind of tanker.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking, like, why is there so much stuff with people? Why can't they just buy a tub of ice cream?
Okay, shut your mouth right now.
Sit on a rock.
Yeah.
And just eat it.
Yes. I think you're right. I'm glad you've been honest.
Yeah.
And I think your story is interesting.
Thank
and
you.
people could learn from you.
So much.
But I think you're going to die alone.
Right.
I'm pretty sure of that one.
Well,
After 20 episodes we've made of this shit now.
21.
21.
Hey, you know, with this 21st episode, that puts us in the official top 1% of podcasters worldwide.
Yeah. But sadly, this is the last one.
Is it, though?
I think it is.
I think we should bring a pizza to the next
This
one.
podcast
Then we don't-
sounded like the end.
But then we don't have to talk about it if it's right here in front of us.
Beginning of the end. Here's what I'm going to say. If you're paranoid, how can a woman love a paranoid man? Except in Florida.
Right. Because of the alligators?
Because of the alligators. Because of the constant threats. Everybody's crazy down there.
Right.
If you're paranoid, that's the least of their concerns. The fact that you're selling lottery tickets or tickets to heaven. What was the story again? The people who said they were selling tickets to God.
No.
You know the meth couple who had tickets to heaven.
Weren't they the ones who took in everyone's dogs and said that Armageddon was coming and everyone was going to get raptured?
No, there was some guy who married a crocodile. They had a crocodile or whatever it was. Living in the house.
Right.
On meth.
In Florida.
And but imagine if she was dating just a guy who was paranoid.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's not sleeping with an alligator.
That's right.
That's great.
Yeah. Maybe I should move to Florida.
I think so too.
Or maybe we should turn this tanker around.
Into Florida.
Into Florida. And dock in Florida for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
People, it's going to get scary out there. This is not the end. This is the beginning.
Pack a machete.
Pack a machete, stack up the beans, and buy batteries and a flashlight.
Stay sane.
And stay sane.